Hey there, this is Margaret GIll, and welcome. I am doing my Courageous Speaking Top 10 Speaking Tips series because I've got to get my speaking voice back in style again because it's been a little bit of a wee while, and the best way that I know to do that is to practice. And why not practice in a live environment where I know that I can't make mistakes and I can't just rub things out easily. But I still can make mistakes, but because I know that you guys will understand. So what we're going to take a look at today is the top 10 speaking tips that I wrote some time ago and found a list of. So this is something that is really important to get into the habit of doing, is creating frameworks. So top 10 tips, that's a framework, what they call a framework. And oh man, I spent a lot of time in training with Brendan Burchard in the United States between 2012 and 2014. And oh my word, is he big on frameworks. He basically says framework everything. And so it's a good way to get into the habit of frameworking your whatever you're teaching, because if you throw information at people, they just get overwhelmed. Most people can only take information in for 40 minutes maximum, and then you've got to give them a break. But by putting things into frameworks, they're able to compartmentalize things. So they're able to put things in little sections. And the lovely thing about doing frameworks, particularly if you're using number frameworks, so, tip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is it appeals to different people's learning styles. So there's several different learning styles. And Matt Church taught me this. He's got 16. Well, that's just typical for Matt because he's an overachiever. I just hooked into the first few that he told me, and then it must have been my 40 minutes were up because I switched off. But the ones that I really make sure when I'm teaching and when I'm creating frameworks is that you have to have numbers, you have to have audio, you have to have visual, and you have to have what we call kinesthetics, which is for us touchy-feely lot. We like to get in there and touch things, and we like to, feel it. So the easy way around that, and this is the classic Matt Church trick, is any slides you've got, just simply number them. Just put a little circle with a number in, bottom left-hand corner, bottom right. Doesn't matter where you put the number, just number your slides. You don't even have to create the framework. So I've done the top 10. I should have got one I could say with my teeth in, shouldn't I? Top 10 tips. I've created that framework. With that little tip, you just number all your slides. You just put them all in little groups, and then you just number them. You don't even have to comment on it. You don't have to make a framework around it. You don't have to do anything. But you'll notice the numeric people in the audience will start to write down slide 1. And it makes them really comfortable. So I cover a mix. I'm a bit of a mix. I go really well at listening to stuff, but I love numerics. I love writing down the frameworks, and I love putting the number and underscoring the number and writing my little tip down. And if you can appeal to the numerics, you'll know when you've got one in the room, when you mess up your slides, because this is where my numericness starts to get a bit off the rails, because I'm also very kinesthetic, touchy-feely, very all over the place, and occasionally I just go, oh no, let's just take that one out, or just take that slide out, and I forget it's got a number on, so we'll be going along 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go 6, 7, 8, 9, and you can guarantee the numeric in the room will go, Mark, you've missed 5. It's like, 1 to 2, oops. And you kind of got to go back and create a 5 for them, or else it just drives them nuts. They don't like to have 5 and then nothing written beside it. And so you'll always know when you've got numerics in the room. So if you notice that a lot of people are writing down the numbers, well, start to talk in numbers. It's a great speaking tip. Start to talk in numbers because you've got numerics. It's important for them. So you're talking tips, top 3 tips, the top 3 things that you should do about this, the top 3 comments that I've got on this are. And it's so easy to start integrating into your speaking, and you're not alienating that part of the room then. So the visual people need images. So this is why video is going so well, because there's loads of people that are video, imagery type people. There's loads of people that aren't as well. The fabulous Patricia McKenzie, who does all of my, oh man, Patricia has been with me. I'm just so grateful and so blessed to have Patricia. She's the one, you might have noticed that I've started to post all of these amazing quotes that I've said. Well, she swears I said them somewhere, and I look at them and I go, man, did I say that? Oh, that's pretty good. I don't remember saying that. But she's going through all of my old text, all of the old written newsletters, all of the old blog posts, everything that I've done, all my Facebook comments, all of the things that I've done. She's going through and pulling out the quotes. And so she hates video with a vengeance. Her time span for video is about 10 minutes a week. A month for her would be a good thing. She hates it with a vengeance, and because she's a word person, she likes text. So you've got to have text on your slides. Now, never too much, but for Patricia, there's got to be text on the screen. And so she's going to relate well to anything with text. She won't even be watching this because she doesn't like video. So we don't have to worry about Facebook Lives for the text people because they won't be on. But where you can make the difference for them is in the comments section. You could make some text comments that will really appeal to them. And at the top of your video posts, you could put numeric points. You could go back in after you've finished your Facebook Live, and you could put the 3 points I made today were 1, 2, 3. Just number them. 1, 2, 3. Don't do this, don't do that. And you're going to open up to a bigger audience there by doing that. It's kind of cool, isn't it, when you get the hang of it? It's kind of cool. And so with the touchy-feelies like me, who like to be in the touch of things, you've got to get them doing stuff. So you've got to get them out of their chairs. And at Courageous Speaking, one of the exercises that we do, they love this, absolutely love this. They have to go around the room and shake hands and introduce themselves. And the room gets really excited when you get them doing that. And what they have to do is, for the first time for most of them ever, they have to introduce themselves with their first name and their surname. Because, of course, if you're going to be a speaker, you've got to own your name, because it's going to be plastered all over everything. When I first started out going speaking, so yesterday I shared with you how much of a struggle it was for me to even start speaking, because I was not a natural speaker. It was not my natural go-to place. I'm the backline girl. Back end, back line, back everything. Just right at the back. Put me in the back of the stage, I'm happy. Front of the stage was never my place. I've had to train myself to be at the front of the stage, and I would exit stage right and get to the back as soon as I could if I knew that the power is at the front of the room. So I can't go back to the back of the stage anymore. I've got to continue to push myself out there and get comfortable. And what I did was I got the sign made, and I was broke as a little church mouse. I was so poor, and I'd got this logo made by the design company in Daylesford, and they recommended that I blew it up and take it over to this plan printer place in Ballarat that would make me a really big sign for $25. And I'm like, oh, excellent! So I had my logo and my name blown up onto this big sheet. It was a big, and you could roll it up, and I got it laminated, and you could roll it up, and so I would put it on the wall behind me when I went to my little speaking gigs. And do you know what? I would leave it behind all the time. I would get halfway to Melbourne, and I would go, do you know what? I didn't pack that sign. Did not pack that sign. And the number of times I didn't pack that sign because it had my name on it. And these are the things. Getting over speaking is one thing, but then getting over having your name all over stuff and having to get those pull-up banners with your name and your picture. There's so much more to speaking than just speaking. And so what I do in the Courageous Speaking event is, first of all, we get the touchy-feelies on side by getting them to introduce themselves by their first and last name. And it can be really confronting for people, But as soon as they get the hang of it, they're going around introducing and shaking hands. And so there's the touch part, you see, so they're happy. So we've got the text people, we've got the visual people. Just use images in your PowerPoints. Don't use text, use text. Don't use a lot of text, but use images that tell the thing that you're trying to get across. And you can go to places like iStock was one that I used a lot of. And for whatever reason, I got into duckies. Duckies were the star of the show when I did the Sort of Saw events. Duckies got involved, the rubber duckies. And they were amazing because I found all these rubber ducky photos of rubber duckies doing really cool things. And they were created for the banks. So the ducky was used, and duckies and pigs. And so the pigs were used for the piggy bank thing, putting your money in the bank. And the duckies got involved in the bank stuff as well, because the duckies were really cute and cool, and often there were duckies with the pigs and things. And I got all these images, and some of them are hysterically funny. And so that appeals to people's sense of humour as well. So the more you're able to mix your stuff up and get different aspects of what people need to learn, or their learning style. They won't learn if their learning style is not catered for in your presentation. And these are a lot of the things that we're going to do at Courageous Speaking. We're going to get you understanding how you need to put your presentations together, because look, I'm a grand example of someone who was so shy and so unable to speak, so unable to get words out. Now I can sit here and do this stuff off the cuff. I don't have an autoresponder. I don't think I would cope with an autoresponder, to be honest. I think it would panic me having the words go past. I go, oh my, I can't keep up. I'd go off track and the words have changed. So I don't use autoresponders and things like that. I speak off the cuff, and the way that I've got to do that is by speaking. There's no easy way. There's no what was his name, Neo download in the Matrix where they whack that thing on the back of you. Oh, I'm ready for that day. Oh man, when they just whack that thing on the back of your head and they plug you into the Matrix and you learn whatever you want to learn. Nah, there's nothing like that. You have to, if you want to speak, you've got to speak, and that's how it works. Now, I've gotten a bit off track here. I'm not sure where I was going with that, because my topic for today was speak on topics you're passionate about and know a lot about. And so there you go. I reckon I've done that. So I've become passionate about speaking and teaching people to speak, because there's so much that I have learned, because I was because I was so scared of public speaking, to be really honest. I was petrified of it, absolutely petrified of public speaking. I can't tell you what a mess I was the first time I had to go up and speak. I was literally shaking in my boots. And I got I put my hand up to do a novice presentation at the International Coach Federation in Melbourne. When I was preparing for it, I couldn't believe it. So I had notes for that. I had notes that I read off, broke every single rule, absolutely every single rule in the book when I spoke at that event. And I read off the notes, so my head would have been down and I would have been reading like this, which you will have noticed we've already lost connection with each other because I've got my head down and I'm not looking at you. So there's many things you have to learn about speaking to be a good speaker. A lot of people think they can just go out there and just have a go. And to some degree, I did that, but I had to go after I got enough training to give me the confidence to know I wasn't making an idiot of myself. And that's where something like Courageous Speaking is really, really important, because with our tip today, which is, do I keep forgetting my tip? Because I'm actually doing the tip. I'm being passionate and about something I know a lot. And the reason I know a lot about it is because I've stood on the boards and because I've studied with the masters. That's why I know a lot. So, but my tip is speak on topics you are passionate about and know a lot about. So, yeah. You can tell that I get a bit fired up about it, and I had forgotten how much I love teaching this stuff as I'm starting to get back on track with it, how much I'm actually love teaching it. But one of there's basically two rules that I teach people. So my course is not about, this is not a how to speak course. This is a how to speak course. I will teach you how to get on stage, how to get yourself to a stage and not fail. That's what I'm going to teach you. As opposed to, here's how an expert speaker speaks. They do this with their hand. They do this with their, and we're not going to do that, because I've never learned that. I've never gone to Toastmasters, just because I haven't, not because I have a problem with Toastmasters. I just haven't. And what's happened is a few people have that I've taught, and they go, Mark, they don't let you do and earn the right at Toastmasters. And I'm like, well, I won't go then, because the only way I know how to communicate from stage is through sheer authenticity, sheer being real. That's the only way I know how to do it. And so that's all I teach. I don't ever want to know how to do it any other way, because it works for me. So Toastmasters, I believe one of the things they do is they give you a topic you know nothing about, and you have to go and research it and then do a talk about it. That wouldn't be me, because I couldn't do that. I would forget the points. I would do all of the things that frighten people about speaking. What I teach you is how, if you are a petrified speaker, how you can go out there and not fail. That's what I'm teaching. And the not failing part is what makes it work. And one of the ways not to fail is to only ever speak about what you truly know a lot about. Because what I've found is most people's big fear about speaking is that someone in the audience will challenge them. And yes, they will. I've been challenged. One night, I was speaking at the Mornington Massage Association. And this day, I had left Daylesford, and it took me about 4 hours to get there, because when I left Daylesford was snowed in. There was only one route out, and it meant that I had to add another 2 hours to my journey and travel through the most atrocious weather to get down to Mornington, which I think at best it was going to be a 3-hour trip for me. It added at least another hour, and I was exhausted by the time I got there. And I was talking about massage therapists building their business and growing their business and charging money for their services and being happy, blah, 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 the usual stuff. And this lady, all of a sudden, she stood up out of the audience and she was like, how dare you say that I've got to charge money for massage? And she went off. And I was like, whoops. And in the end, something in my brain went, Margaret, you're here to talk about making money from massage. If she's offended, that's her problem. It's not yours. And because I was speaking passionately, I didn't say anything horrible to her or anything like that. Like I explained that I wasn't here to talk about how to do massage for free. I was talking about building a business, and basically that's what I was there for, and I was there to help people. But she took real umbrage on something that I said, and it was something really basic. So I've had people stand up from the room and challenge. So I've had that happen. But it's very rare that will happen when you're speaking on your topic of passion. It's very, very rare. I just hit a chord, which I'm prone to do when you're in a room full of massage therapists who don't want to charge money for stuff, who don't value their time and money, time and energy, and have a thing about money. Well, I'm going to challenge that. So another of the rules is don't challenge from the stage, because what we're about is getting you out there and speaking. You can start to do whatever you like in a year's time, but my course is about getting you out speaking. And yeah, I can still remember her coming up out of the crowd. She was just incensed. And it was really interesting because massage therapists don't normally do that. I always laugh whenever I spoke to kinesiologists, they were dotted around the room. There was one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. And eventually I figured out I had to clump them together. I had to ask them to come and sit together. And kinesiologists don't like that. The massage therapists, whoop, they all sit together. They just all sit together. You ever notice that? They're all like, they all like massage each other, and it's great. It's awesome. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. And so there I was with this lady coming up out of the audience, and I'm like, ooh, they say this happens and it's happening. Oh, my word. But because I was so passionate about what I do, I was able to deal with that. And she sat back down and she was happy and she had a say. And it's about learning these things. It's about knowing that it's going to happen. So I'm going to tell it to you as it is. You're going to get my experience of what I had to do to get my message out there. No one can challenge you, though, when you are doing what you say you're doing. That's the thing. So I don't promise to get you on a stage of 80,000 people because I haven't spoken to 80,000 people. I haven't spoken to a stadium yet. I would love to. When I started out, would I have said that? Hell no. But these days, I would love the challenge of speaking to a stadium of 80,000 people. And you know who I'd be going to learn from? The person that's already spoken to 80,000 people. That's who I'll be queuing up to. When I get the gig that's got 80,000 people in the stadium, I'll be queuing up to figure out how they get the energy to be able to project out there. Have you ever noticed people like the Rolling Stones play to 1 million people on the beach at Rio? The energy to hold that beach must have been phenomenal on the band. And this is another thing you have to learn, is when you're a speaker, you're going to be holding energy in a room. And I teach you about that as well. And I have the right to teach that because energy work is what I've taught for many years. So it's about really, this course is really about getting you to understand all of the different aspects of speaking that nobody ever tells you about before you start to go down the burrow and really learn. So I reckon we're at the end. I'm just going to stop. One of my big things is once I get going, you see, I'm like a freight train. And yeah, that's not good. But look, it is good. It is good. I'm not going to say it's not good because it is good, because being a speaker, you do want to be able to speak on your topic with passion. And that's what I love to teach people. And I'm getting back on the boards to teach. I'm coming back. It's called the Resurrection Series, and it's Courageous Speaking, the Resurrection Series, because I've been very unwell, still not particularly well. I wouldn't say I was fully well, but I'm a lot better than I have been. And so I'm going to resurrect and start teaching again, and this will be the first session at my home where it's safe for me, where I know everything is and things like that. So yeah, I would love if you were able to come and join me, because that would be just totally awesome. Just write a comment below. I'm still working on the website. I'm getting better at Facebook Live than I am getting it better at websites, because my brain struggles with text. That's part of what's wrong with me. So there I was talking about people with text. That's why Patricia McKenzie is doing so much beautiful work behind the scenes for me, because my brain can't deal with text. But I found out I can still talk, and I can talk and not stop. So it's all a good thing. We're going to do that, and we're going to get that back on the tracks. And as I start teaching, I'm sure that all of the other stuff is going to start coming back into my brain as well. So I'm going to love to have you on the course and love sharing all of this information with you. I've got weeks of information I could share with you to make you a great speaker. The funny thing is about this course is it doesn't necessarily create speakers. It opens up creativity on so many levels. People have written books. The lovely Emily, Emily Kazvada has created a card deck and now speaks at the Mind Body Spirit Festival. If I told you that the day that she came to Sort of Saw, if I told her that then, she would have gone, yeah, Miss Marks, give me some of what you're smoking. But she's done it. We've had people write books. We've had all sorts of wonderful things happen. And that's what it's about. Once you open up that throat chakra, once you get confident to share your voice with people, the voice can be is not just vocal, it can be the written word, it can be video, it can be all sorts of things. It starts you doing what you want to do to get your message to the world. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for being with me. And just go out there and be remarkable today. Bye.